Hi everyone, welcome. I am doing an Easter color along with this page from Kevin Teo Art. This is a freebie in his Facebook group. I will link the Facebook group down below, but you will have to go into the group and go to albums to get it. I can't link it directly. I tried. So I'm going to do this in alcohol markers. I had a couple questions about how I blend my alcohol markers, and so I thought this would be a great page to kind of show that on. I am not going to use any fancy name brand markers really. I'm going to use some Coloria and Azure, which you can get these at Walmart too. I think they are available on Amazon, but I found mine at Walmart. A Sharpie and a craft gear, possibly. So I don't really have a plan. I'm kind of just going with the flow. We will see how far we get in part one and then go from there. Basically, I want to start with the sky first. And I'm going to do yellows and oranges because that feels Eastery to me. So I'm going to start with this pink. And I am not going to go very high with it. I just want kind of a darker base color on the bottom to start with. So remembering this is a sky, we don't want it exactly 100% in a straight line, but we don't want a big dip in it either. We want some variation, but not too much, if that makes sense. So a very nice coat, small circular motion to avoid streaks. Alcohol markers are fairly good at being streaky or streak free, especially if you get juicy ones. If you use the juicy ones, sometimes the emptier they are, the more they will streak. Just a heads up. Pull this up a little more. So this, when you pick your marker up and stop, you will get like this line right here. When I am done and I have everything how I want it, I will go back and fix that. But this is just my base layer. So it will take a couple layers, just like with pencils, but that's okay. So I also, before I turned it on, went and drew a little pencil line around my image. I shrank it down a little because I like to use washi tape for a border. This little line just helps me know where to stop, because if I color too far out, if I use a transparent washi tape, you'll be able to see the marker underneath it. So it's just a stopping point. I will erase it out and it won't be there. This might be the washi tape I use, depending on my colors, we will see. But that is why that is there. And you don't want to do it in anything dark, because like I said, if you pull a translucent washi tape, you will see the lines underneath it. So next we are going with, so this was a pink rose, and these are all different brands, so it don't really matter, but pink rose to peach. And I am going to do a little bigger section with my peach. So when you are planning your sky, it is important to kind of figure out how high you want to go, how many colors you're using, if you want even layers or not. Like I said, I just started with the dark because I wanted kind of a horizon line kind of feel. So I am going to pull this one up a little higher. And I am going right over my pink, just so my pink isn't so pinkish and they all blend together nicely. When picking your sky colors, be sure that you somewhat have a plan of the colors you're going to use in the sections around it. Like his orange legs, I don't want to go too dark orange, his orange legs will blend in. Or his yellow fur, so I want to keep in mind that if I transition up to yellow, I want to make sure it's not the same yellow I'm going to use for him. So, like I said, this will take a couple layers to even everything out. This is just my base coat. I'm kind of plotting where I want everything. And if you decide you want to pull that pink up a little further, you can. So I know not everybody is into Easter, but this was a super cute page. We do celebrate, so we will be doing that this weekend, and I figured maybe I got a color along up or even just a watch and learn, I guess. Oh, I colored my leaf twice, so I will cover that with green. It'll just give some definition to my leaf. I'm not extremely worried about it. I don't have a color picked out for this giant flower yet. My sidewalk or my cement down here, I don't really want a gray because I don't feel like that's going to go well with my colors I have going on here. So I'm thinking I'm going to do a pastel blue, kind of keep with the Easter pastels. Try and pay attention a little bit here so I don't do a leaf again. Just pulling that orange up around the flowers here. Okay, and then you're going to have to bear with me for a second while I swatch my next color, because I didn't really plan this video. I just printed it and ran with it. I don't have all my colors ready. So what I do is I just kind of scribble a couple lines here, and then I pull colors that I think will look good next. So I think that is the next one I want to use. That is right. It's the next one after this I don't have planned. So trying very careful not to color too much of that little flower, and I'm going to pull this up to about there. Like I said, trying to keep the yellows away from down here where my yellow bird will be. Overlapping helps with the blending, so you're going down right over, not all the way. You don't want to color over all your orange, but you do want to have a little bit of that transition space there. Don't want a straight line color changing. I think purples and pinks are going to go beautiful with all these yellows and oranges, so that will probably be majority of my colors on here. So this month is also, I had an Easter baby, so my son's birthday is always right next to Easter, so that's exciting too. So when I had him, of course, everything was Easter themed, and a lot of the gifts I got were Easter themed because that was what was out. And so chicks and bunnies and spring and things like that really kind of just remind me of that. It's another reason I really like Easter. Easter is a fabulous time to have a baby, just if anyone out there is planning. Okay, making sure I don't have any rough spots in here. I do have kind of a dark spot right there. I'm going to try to blend out a little and get a little further. Just darkening this up a little because I feel like it's a little light now that it dried some. So just putting on another layer. And I probably will go in and fix up around these flowers more when I get that close into the nitty-gritty details of things. So now is the tricky part where I decide what color I want to pull into this next. So I am kind of going a little high with this orange. Now, when you transition colors, you never want to stop right behind something. So I don't want to stop behind this banner with this orange and it come out yellow, because then it looks kind of choppy. So you always want to make sure that you're kind of transitioning before or after things. Let's see. That one's just almost gonna leave an ugly color, I feel like. Let's see. I really love blending with markers though. It is super fun. See, and that one is almost too bright. The struggle is real. But I think if I blend it enough, they almost go together nicely. I'm going to pull like every yellow I have here. See, that one's like too gold. I don't like that either. I'm so picky with my transitions because I feel like if you have a smooth transition, the rest of your picture is just golden. That one feels dark to me too. Trying to think. I lost my marker. Whoa. I think this is pretty close. Yeah, that one's almost. So I have all my markers in bins. I bought black crate bins from Walmart. They were 97 cents at the time. And I have them all color coded. So blue, green, purple, orange, red, pink, brown, black. So it is really easy to, and I have all the caps pointing outward. So it is really easy to kind of look at the colors. The problem is not all colors match their lids. Oh, well, I tried to sneak a marker out of the package. I feel like that one's going to take a lot of blending. And I think this is too close, yes. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go with the yellow I had. Let me double check my, now that I have switched colors so many times here. Yep, we're going to go with this one. Okay, so there's a little bit of a color jump here. These colors aren't as smooth of blend as these down here. So we want that small circular motion and we want to overlap a little. We want that nice fade. We will definitely have to come back in with our orange again to cover up where these two colors are meeting, but we can do that. That is not a problem. But so nice and slow, and I think this will work. So this one is just a regular old Sharpie, and so unfortunately it doesn't have the brush tip, so it doesn't go as fast as the brush tips or the chisel tip markers. But we're still going to roll with it. Thankfully, I am not going too far with this yellow, so you will not have to watch me scribble too far with this Sharpie. You can definitely tell the difference that in the Sharpie, it's a little choppier and a little less smooth. But I am going to go over it with the lighter yellow that I fill the top with, and hopefully that'll smooth it out some. So I'm basically just using this to tint the paper one shade darker than my last color. So the main part is just blending this part smooth where it meets this orange. The top part I am not worried about because, like I said, I'm going to blend it with a smoother marker. So if you guys have questions or comments or anything else you want to see, I don't have a lot of the fancier brands of marker like CaliArt or anything like that, but I do have quite an assortment of alcohol markers. I have Teotrese and sprays, some of the cheaper. I am just not some of the prices are markers. I am just like, holy cow. Someday when I am rich, I will try it, and I'm sure I will be in love. But for now, I just can't convince myself. Pencils, yes, but I feel like markers just die so easily. And I'm sure people have that same feeling with pencils, but... Alright. So we're just kind of blending this side part in a little here. And I think the rest of that looks pretty smooth. Alright, so now we're going to scribble this color on this paper. This is my professional way of doing things. And we're going to pick our next one and make sure. Yep. Nope, I lied. Because I want a nice... Ooh, I think that one might be too close. Let's see. I want a smooth, so I want to use one of these juicier markers, but those two are like exactly the same. I do have all my brands of markers mixed. My pencils are separate, but my markers are mixed. That is just what works for me. That one is not the juiciest. I'm trying to pull the ones that say like lemon yellow, because that's really what I want. Ooh, like that, but that might be one step too bright. Yeah, I think it is. Let's see. We're gonna try it, and if not, by golly, we will hit it with another color. So I'm gonna put it in up here first. Try not to drag my pencil with my marker. Get all this nice and smooth. Then we're gonna blend. And see, that's why I wasn't really worried about how choppy my upper half was, because I knew if I found a nice juicy marker, I could fix it. Try not to color my plain wing here. So this one might also take a couple coats. Sometimes things look really great until they dry. So if I still end up with too big of a shift right there, I will go over it again. I can also hide it with a cloud because I plan on putting in some acrylic clouds. So I'm not going to worry too much about it just yet. You will see right here where the markers have a little bit of a different texture. That'll disappear when I put in my second layer. So just to give you an idea, because I know sometimes that can scare people, that texture goes away. It's just because I mixed brands. And I have done a lot of markers and blending, so I kind of know what brands are going to do it now. But just a heads up. Now I'm like on a blending mission here. Sidetracked. Okay, we're going to leave it for now. I need a little work up here at the top. Let's see. This is a nice yellow, but I worry it's going to leave lines. So adding this on, hopefully while this other marker is still wet, going to decrease the lines of the Sharpies. Just taking this yellow down one tone because I feel like it's super bright. Hopefully I'm still on screen here. right, I like that. So there is our background. I will add some clouds probably on the next part. Next, I'm going to pull blues. I have a few options for blues here for this concrete. So I'm going to pull a few of them real quick and see what we like. So I'm still wanting to keep this a cement kind of feel. I don't want to distract from the bright colors of the rest of the page. This is one of my favorites. This is a Bic, but I feel like I want a little more gray than that. Like that one. These Pen and Gears, that one is a nice color. I've let these sit so long because they're not my favorite that some of the tips on them are kind of weird. That's not a bad one either. But I'm worried they're not going to make it all the way. That's really blue. So you'll notice these two are two very different colors. There is very slight difference in the lid. So be super careful when pulling your Sharpies because they have tricked me a few times like that. I think we're going to try these Pen and Gear ones. So these are just Walmart. I think they came in a pack of like 24 for a certain amount of dollars. I got them for heart surgery, so because they came in a nice case that you could just take with you. So yeah, just a nice Walmart brand. So I'm just going to take my darkest of my three and fill in my cracks. Thankfully, he did most of the shading for us, so we don't have to work real hard, which is the nice thing about grayscale or shaded. I'm going to turn it a little bit. Let's see. 22 minutes. Hopefully I can get this wall in, and then I will record the next part. And if anyone wants to see the next part, I will have it all recorded tonight. I will have this whole page done tonight. So if you want it up, I can post it. But I will post this first part and see how it goes. So now I'm just kind of barely tapping the cracks he has put in. I don't want to color them because I don't want them to be harsh. But I do want to make sure they are there. I am going to make this line right here a little darker, come down on that corner. Same right here. I'm not going to put any shadowing around those leaves just yet. I don't want the focus to be too much down here as I want it to be on my chick. Alright, so I'm also going to do a little around here. Kind of want to keep the shadows on his feet because we want his little feet to stand out against this blue-gray. That is another reason I chose to go more blue than gray, because orange and blue contrast each other. So his little feet will stand out. Okay, my next color, I just go everywhere I touched. And of course, this is like, totally tested it a second ago and it was fine. Now it's dried out. Apparently just one side of the marker. Okay. I think the only expensive markers, and they weren't super expensive, I think they were like $36 when I bought them, were the Arctic Skin Tone markers. And they were worth it, but they last fairly long. I think I'm only on my like second set in 2 years. So other than that, try to stay budget friendly. He said someday maybe I'll be rich and I'll get to try all the supplies I want. But for now, and I actually think Sharpies and Bics work pretty well together. just for larger areas, you definitely want a brush tip or a chisel tip for that smoothness. Okay, just kind of adding some shading in around here. Because this isn't my lightest color, so I don't want to touch everywhere. Okay. Then we're going to pull our lightest. Make sure it works this time. And I think I'm going to have to add a little blue to this, but we will get it all blended up first and go from there. Let's jump over here. So this is where we want our circular motions because we're blending. Cement is not smooth, but we do not want choppy colors on it. Okay. I did not draw a line at the bottom, but I am going to just kind of stop where the bottoms of my bricks are. These pen and gear markers were not bad. I actually didn't get any coloring done after heart surgery to try them out. But my good friend Jamie, she sent me a whole bunch of books right before I had heart surgery to help keep me busy. And I did color quite a few easy pages with these. They don't last the longest, but they do have nice colors. So if you're into pen and gear, this one's going to be choppy. Just trying to smooth this one out a little bit because it's a larger area and my marker is not the juiciest, so it's leaving a little bit of streaks. You can always come back and add some darker with the other color to help hide it. Okay. Sure we're still recording here. I guess I could move my swatch paper out of the way and scoop some markers. My desk is a disaster this month. I'm glad to be back recording though. If you missed my last video, we have a baby kitten, and so we were doing the every 2-hour feeding through the night and everything. And that really took a toll. I'm getting a little old for that. Alright, so we are at 28 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here and get the next part recorded. Questions, comments, leave them down below. Like I said, if you are ready for the next part before I get it posted, just let me know down below and I will upload it right away. I thank you for watching and I hope to see you next video. Happy Easter!